We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hey, everybody, episode 32 of Vikings Uncensored coming at you here again. Once again, I'm going to apologize in advance. The damn cold hasn't gone away, so if my voice starts cracking out, that's why.
Yeah, man, you gave it to me.
Yeah, gave you the virus through the computer, but
you did. I got something going on. Something like that.
Once again, Vikings Uncensored brought to you by our friends over at Boulder Tap House. Craft burgers, craft beer, and an atmosphere the whole family will love. You got one in your area, go check them out. Great food, great people. You will enjoy it. In fact, I'm going to go over there after I'm done, I think, and have some supper.
Oh, all right.
So
yum, yum, yum.
Anyway, we got a little bit different show this week since we didn't have a game on Sunday. We got some new stuff we'll roll through. Then we're going to do our bye-week grading after that. Then we'll roll into the results of our fantasy football challenge between Lance and I, and between Vikings Uncensored and the Vikings Report with Drew and Ted. We won't spoil what we're at, but yeah. Then we'll after that we'll preview this upcoming weekend Sunday night special against the Dallas Cowboys, who can blow it out their ass because Drew Pearson still pushed off.
Yeah, no shit.
So anyway, we'll get rolling here.
Does not belong in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
No. If Jim Marshall's not in there, Drew Pearson shouldn't be in there.
Right. Anyways, moving along.
Yeah, moving on.
Pearson.
Few news items. Couple NFL ones, and we've got one sort of major kind of Vikings one. Over with the Jets, their wonder kid quarterback, Zach Wilson, injured himself and is out 2 to 4 weeks. So then the Jets went and traded for Joe Flacco to bring in.
Oh, whoopee.
Yeah.
Watch out for them Jets now, man. Super Bowl.
Yep. But I mean, it was one of the major news things that came up this week. So
what did Wilson do?
I
heard
you know what?
His knee.
Yeah, I was hyperextended his knee or something. I don't know if it was, it's the Jets, so you can see how much I actually cared about it. I didn't even go look, see what the injury was. But anyway.
Forgive us, you Jets fans, for not knowing your team.
Yeah. Then on the other quarterback front, with the trade deadline coming up next week, the whole Deshaun Watson thing is suddenly woken up again.
Yeah.
They're talking. There was a rumor that came out that the Texans basically came out and said, any team interested, you have to beat Miami's current offer. So whatever that is. I know they were still looking for 3 number 1 picks plus some other picks or players or something.
Right.
But they said Carolina is also very interested, especially after the whole, the way Darnold has looked the last 3 weeks. But
man, I would not want to dip my feet in that water.
No.
I wouldn't want to feel that desperate that I feel like I would have to dip my feet in that water.
No, because the first thing's going to happen, you get that, and then he'll end up getting suspended, and then you're without a quarterback anyway.
Exactly.
But anyway, it was worth mentioning.
You want a quarterback, and you won't have any draft picks either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least it's not us.
No. This one now has a little more bearing on the Vikings themselves. And we'll know about this by the time you guys see the show because it'll happen on Thursday. But over with that team from Wisconsin, their top 2 wide receivers are both currently on the COVID list and unlikely to play on Thursday. Devonta Adams and Alan Lazard.
Oh.
So they're playing in Arizona against the unbeaten Cardinals on Thursday. And like I said, we're all going to know what happened by the time you guys see this, but it bears watching and could potentially
that's I think everybody that watches football should know, that's big news over there.
Mm-hmm.
Both those guys, especially Lazard, had a pretty decent game last game.
Yeah, he did. Then we'll move on to the Vikings related one. Came out this week. Stephen Weatherly was traded over to the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, there was a little bit of speculation, and then shortly after that speculation, it was like, boom, gone.
Mm-hmm.
Trade.
It was rumored that we wanted Drew Lock in on the deal, and they said no. Yeah. So basically, we gave them Weatherly and then swapped this year's and next year's 7th-round picks around.
Oh.
So.
Slick.
That's another Spielman special. I don't know. I'm still wondering if we're not trying to dump a little cap space to maybe try to bring in another cornerback or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that too. That could be a possibility of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. But as of Wednesday, I saw Andre Patterson had his press conference this week, and he's saying that rookie Patrick Jones and also Kenny Willekes will get snaps now in Weatherly's spot. But I think the last couple of games, Weatherly's had like 8 or 10 snaps, so that's not going to spread it out a whole lot.
Yeah. At least, gives him some snaps at least, I guess.
Yeah.
It gives him a chance to make a splash play, which is, nothing wrong with that, I guess.
Right. And if they show up a little bit, maybe we can take a little bit of that heat off of Everson, that he started and played, I think, just about the entire game against Carolina. So.
Mm-hmm. He's earned it, though, according to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he has. I mean,
I agree.
He looks like the old Everson right now. So.
Yeah.
Whether he can hold that up for the next 11 games or whatever it is, it remains to be seen, but, Yeah, I got to keep the voice fresh here.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, that's basically the news stuff. So we'll move into our bye-week grades for the Vikings, what we've seen through the first 6 weeks. And like we do with everything else, we're going to start off with the offense and the quarterbacking. What kind of grade are you giving Mr. Cousins there, Lance?
I would have to go with, an A-. I can't go a high B plus, low A-. He's been good. He's been what we've asked him to be. He's making great throws. He's been more decisive with where he's going with the ball and knowing what he wants to do before the snap,
Mm-hmm.
Making good reads, not making a lot of mistakes. So I'm happy with where Kirk is at right now. And let's hope he continues to build off of it and doesn't, he tends to roller coaster through the season sometimes, it seems like. So let's hope he can stay at this high and keep it there.
Yeah. And, I had kind of figured kind of right in that same range, the B plus A minus range. The only real kind of a clunker game he had was against Cleveland, and the whole team had a clunker game there. So
you all sucked.
So yeah,
you can't just lay that on his feet.
We had said that game, it seemed like it was more coaching than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It really did.
So yeah, I'll agree with the grading on that. Now we'll move on to the running backs. What do you think there?
I would say probably about a B or B minus. I like, how can you not like what you see out of Delvin, but the fact that he can't stay on the field every single game and he gets dinged up, that's what knocks the score down a little bit, or the grade down a little bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
When he's on the field, he makes plays, for the most part. I liked what I seen out of Madison. Where's our screen game gone, the last few games as well? I wonder, that we had that good screen game against Seattle and then haven't seen much out of it since. But yeah, I would say about B minus, B, right around that area.
Yeah, I'm going to go B plus, just because, when Cook has been in there, he's been delving real, but the couple of games that Alexander Madison has been in there, he's gone over 100 yards both times.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kicking it up to a B plus. They're going to get dinged for Dalvin not being able to stay on the field, but as much as we use him, we know that's the case. Dalvin is who Dalvin is. He's always had this issue. He's going to continue to have this issue, especially when we run him 350, 400 times, during the season.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We use him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have Madison, why? He should be getting spelt more by Madison, I believe. So
yeah, he should. Even if it's 5 less carries a game or something that you give it, and now, when we come back this weekend, Kane Wangu is going to be active too. He'll be on the active roster. So I want to see that kid get out and.
I believe he's going to get a few carries as well.
Well,
I honestly do.
And he should. We saw him when we were down there for training camp, and that's the only running back I have really can remember ever seeing that doesn't slow down when he makes a corner.
Right. He is quick.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to seeing him get a few runs here and kind of see what he can do too, because I think he's going to be really explosive. So
yes, I have to agree with you there.
All right, so we'll move on to the wide receivers, and I'll take this one first. Okay. I'm gonna give him an A. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are who they are. They're who we expected them to be. But what puts them up there and who surprised all of us is the emergence of KJ Osborne.
Yeah, it's nice having that third option to be able to run the 3 set.
For the first time in how long, we actually have a legitimate third wide receiver now. We had it kind of some with Jarius Wright when he was here, but, he was kind of rarely used, but, produced when he did. But
he came out pretty big on third down a lot.
He did. But with Osborne now, Cousins is getting that trust factor with him. And once Kirk starts trusting you, then, as we've noticed, we're not just using him on third downs or this, that, and that, we're mixing him in.
Right. And with Osborne, a lot of these catches are very mental too, if you know what I mean. Big points in the game, tough catches on top of that as well. And he's pulling it off somehow.
Right. So, they get an A from me, I guess. I don't know. What do you think?
I would have to agree with you there. I would say, A minus, but I can't say that there are things I haven't liked. So there's a lot of things I've liked more than I haven't. And hey, I agree with that. It's nice to see we have a legitimate wide receiver 3. Thielen's, catching touchdowns like he usually does. Justin Jefferson, they just need to keep going to him. Maybe this whole, going with 3 receivers thing is more who's calling the plays and what, who knows? Because I know they ran a lot of double tight end play. They ran a lot of, double, triple tight end sets as well, before this year. And this year, I don't know. It could be who's calling the plays. I don't know. But either way, it's working. So build on it would be great.
Yep. All right, then we're going to move on to the offensive line. Now this one, it's kind of a hard grade on this one, I think, because I mean, as we've all seen, we've had plenty of issues with Rashad Hill, with Oli Udoh and his penalty problems, Bradbury being who Bradbury is. But we've also seen some good stuff, the emergence of Christian Darrisaw in the last game. Now, granted, that's a small sample size.
Right.
He's played a game and a half, but he's looked really good when he's been in there.
And the snaps that he's had, yes.
Mm-hmm. So, not counting Darrisaw in on much of the grading because it's a small sample size, I'm going to give him a C-.
Hey, that's mildly adequate.
We have not given up. I think we've given up the fewest only like 9 sacks all year so far, which is considerably better than we have been. Bradbury's still a problem. I'm not sold on him. He's getting trucked way too much. Udoh, if he doesn't clean up the penalties and everything, I mean, we need to start seeing Wyatt Davis in there sooner rather than later, I think.
At guard, Udoh is probably on a shorter leash than Ezra is.
Yeah, but Cleveland has been spotty too. It's not like he's getting a free pass on this either. So
Right. But I think Cleveland, without the penalties like Udoh has been apt to be getting recently, it seems like that kind of takes Udoh down a notch, in my opinion, as far as like the leash goes.
So what are you giving him for grade?
I'm going to give him a C+ because they're doing better than I believe this is a unit that's going to continue to get better as the year goes on. The only real bad games that we've had were, I believe, Cleveland and Cleveland I know for sure has been bad.
Yeah. Well, we had the 12 penalties against Cincinnati to start, and then we had 11 penalties again, and not all those are offensive penalties, of course, but they were a big part of them were. So, that's got to be cleaned up and everything. And it's a lot of that little stuff and things like that is why I didn't go any higher than a C- on them. But
yeah, I just like I like the trend, how this line is trending is basically what I'm saying. We're trending in the right direction. It's good to have the issue it's good to have Wyatt Davis, like I mentioned before in last week's episode, sitting in, just waiting, licking his chops because he's ready to go if they unleash him.
Yeah.
I don't think Udoh has quite lost his starter job yet, but I would say it's up in the air. I would say that the guys will give him a look if it needs to happen.
Well, of course, we still got Dakota Dozier sitting there waiting in the wings too. So
I hope that we close the book on him sometime soon. Just like
if he plays this year, I'm switching my grade to an F.
Yeah, I couldn't blame you.
All right, so we'll move on to the defensive side of things now. Start off with the defensive line. What do you got there?
I'm going to have to go with, I would say, a B+. I like what I see. We're light years ahead of where we were last year. I would like to see a little bit more better containment when it comes to, stopping the run. We've stopped a lot of, we've stopped the run fairly well, but against teams that are a little bit better at their halfback position, we've had difficulties against. So that concerns me somewhat, but I also believe that will get better as well. These lines, both these lines are fairly outside of Everson Griffin. They're both fairly young lines, So, I mean, they got a little bit of sprinkled in veterans there, here and there, but the line's still somewhat young. Some of them have a lot of good playing time and snaps in their pocket, but I think this line still has, a high ceiling. I don't think they've reached their potential yet.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I'm going a flat B on this one just because of the run defense. Because we're still giving up over 100 yards rushing per game,
Yeah.
even to
Yep.
teams like Detroit and
Yeah.
Carolina. You know, granted, Chuba Hubbard's a pretty decent back, but you know, if they'd had Christian McCaffrey, I will argue that we don't win that game because I think McCaffrey would have ran all over us.
This Dallas game is huge.
Mhm.
This Dallas game is huge. We come out, we win this game. That's big for us and for our guys.
Yep.
You know,
I mean,
confidence level.
And we'll get into that when we talk about the game here later. But yeah, I'm going to go solid B. I mean, as far as the pass rush goes, I give him an A+ on the pass rush because I mean, we're what?
We already had more sacks than we had last year.
Aren't we like 21 right now? And I think we had 23 for the season last year, or it's right in that. But basically, after 6 games, we're matching what we had for the entire year last year. So
yeah.
Okay, then let's move on to the linebackers. What do you got there?
So I would have to say a B. I like, you know, what I see out of Kendricks, he brings that linebacker level up. But Vigil started out hot, kind of fizzled out. Bars came in like you had predicted. And people think he might be kicking off the rust. I've never been a big Bar guy. Yeah, so really outside of Kendricks, nobody really has stuck out to me so far. Other than Vigil, those first few games.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't argue that. I mean, I'm going to go C+. Partially, you know, what we talked before with the running game. You know, it's the linebackers' duty to come up and help stop the run too.
Yep, and fill those gaps.
Fill the gaps, and you know, and when they go outside, the backers have got to have contain on that, and they're not. You know, Kendricks is Eric Kendricks. I mean, he's one of the best middle linebackers in the league. We all know that. Like you said, Nick Vigil started out like a house on fire, and now it's kind of just a smoldering campfire more than anything else. Right now, his playing time has tailed off.
Yeah,
so, you know, we're not seeing as much out of him because now Barr is back in. And
you're not seeing a lot of the base set. You know, nickel is what you mostly see ran a lot of the time.
Right. And you know, Barr, like you said, I haven't been a huge Anthony Barr fan for a few years now. You know, they always say about all this stuff he does behind the scenes that we don't know about. Well, it's not showing up really in the 2 games that he's played a whole lot either. I don't think so. You know, we'll see how they come back out of the bye week, but the you know, the pass coverage over the middle's not, or in the center of the field's not great. You know, we gave up that 40-yard reception on 4th and 10 to
a blocking tight end
to Carolina in the last game, and that was actually Kendricks's cover, because I listened to
that isn't very typical of Kendricks.
I listened to Andre Patterson, and he said Kendricks guessed wrong, and he went up instead of dropping back quicker and whatever. But you know, so that's with all that. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give him a C+.
Yeah.
All right. How about the secondary? We'll lump cornerbacks and safeties all together here, just
okay. Oh, man.
just because it's kind of hard to split them all apart, and it's all mainly the coverage type stuff back there. So
I'm going to have to go with a C+. Outside of Patrick Peterson, and even him sometimes has been questionable to me as far as his want to make a tackle, or you know, setting the example. I don't know. I feel like our secondary is giving up a lot of big plays, and they've been a big part of the reason why we've let teams back into the game. Yeah, I just outside of Harrison Smith really, and I mean I can't say Xavier Woods is been the word, been horrible, but he's been okay. I'd like to see better. I'd like to see more out of him. Our cornerback plays outside of Peterson hasn't been good up until recently.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that continue to get better. And now that Peterson's gone, it's just another question mark as well at that with those DBs. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting how these corners and Harrison and Woods come out against CD and Cooper
Yeah. It's
and Schultz,
yeah, I mean with me, I'm going a flat C here. The first 3 games of the season were pretty much atrocious.
Yeah.
Breland was terrible. He was the worst ranked quarterback in the league. Now he has picked it up, like we talked about in the last show. He's like the 4th or 5th, I think it was 4th ranked cornerback in the last 3 games. So he's making improvements. Had that sweet interception to start off the Carolina game. Harrison Smith, I mean, I love the guy, but I've been disappointed in him this year. He's not making the splash plays like he always used to. It's, and there's been a couple of times where he seems like he's a step slow getting to a spot.
I've actually seen that last year, but I mean,
So
yeah,
and of course it's right after we give him that huge contract extension, which the more I'm looking at it, the more I don't think that was probably the best idea in the world. But, like you said, now with Patrick Peterson being out, it's going to be telling, especially in this next gauntlet of the 4 games that we've got coming up. Can Dantzler and Breland hold serve and take care of business, or are we going to be in trouble? That's the $1 million question right there, I guess. Monday, or Sunday night against the Cowboys is going to be a big test. And if they don't fare well, we got basically a day, I think, to go find a cornerback on the trade market or something to bring in to help us out until Peterson's back. But
oh man, it's going to be that Cowboys game is going to be, it's going to tell a good story.
Yep. All right. So with that, we're going to move over to the special teams, the last chunk of our grading scale here. And we'll start off with our kicking game. Greg Joseph. God, you're not getting any better than a C for me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You've blown 1 game already, just about blew a second one. I mean, what the hell do we have to do around here to get a kicker that doesn't give us PTSD every time we walk out on the damn field?
We need somebody that's got ice running through their veins, man, literally. Somebody like it's going to go out there and kick it through the uprights, at least 93 to 94% of the time, you would hope.
Right. I mean, and we talked about it the last game too, about we keep setting up on the damn right hash mark and then he kicks wide right. But, so yes, we should be trying to line up on the left side to help him out. But dude, you're a professional kicker. You need to be making those kicks. And the more I'm talking about, the more I'm pissing myself off. You get a D, Greg Joseph, not a C. You get a D.
What? Nothing for you.
Just throughout the process of discussing it, you lowered the grade. I'm going to stick with C. I'm going to stick with C because he's had his moments as well. He, even though it should have came to that, but Detroit game, kicked us the winner there. Got out of side of that bind. Arizona game, man, what a heartbreaker. That would have been huge. It would have been good for, the team to win that one, but it's what it is.
Right.
Yeah, C. I'm gonna have to go with the C.
Well, we're 3 plays away from being 5-1, and he's caught, and 2 of those plays are because of him. So
Yep. Coaching, man, too plays a lot.
yeah, I'm still going to stick or reverse my early decision. I'm going to go with D on this one too. But now our punter, Mr. Barry, has been quite a pleasant
He hasn't been
surprise.
a Dingleberry, so that's good.
No, he's not. He's a Jordan Berry. He's not a Dingleberry.
Right.
So, but I'm going to give him a good solid B plus. I mean, he's kicked really well. I think his average has been good. The knocking him down from getting in the A category is that block punt we had last time out. There's things he should have been able to do to avoid that.
Yeah.
That one basically turned the game around and made it a lot closer than it needed to be. So you get a B plus from me.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there too. I'm going to go with the B plus as well. I like what I've seen out of him. Outside of that block, he's been pretty good. So I'd say B plus sounds good. It could be a possibility being A depending on how he finishes the season. So
yeah.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to these players breakdowns and all this at the end of the year and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. All right, now our return game. I am giving this a fucking F.
F's for everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, outside of the Abdullah kickoff return.
Yeah, one kickoff return. Otherwise, you got D.D. Westbrook, who is supposed to be a punt return specialist, out there doing this and that, or trying to take off and run when he should be fair catching the ball.
It's been a problem for way too long as far as returns go.
Yeah, I mean, he's been
ever since we lost Sherrills and Patterson. It's just been a horrendous return game.
Yeah, I mean, Sherrills is too old to do it anymore. But
yeah, absolutely.
But
I'm not an advocate for bringing him back.
No, God,
we haven't had those guys. Nobody's been able to butter their toast. So,
right. But like I said, Westbrook, you've been absolutely worthless back there as far as I'm concerned. So,
he's probably got a lot of excuses he can pull out of his back pocket as well.
Don't care. No excuses tour 2021. We don't give a crap what your damn excuses are. Pick it up or sit on your ass on the bench.
Come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Then the coverage teams. I'm going to give them an A. I think that part of it's done pretty well.
Yeah, the mirror. Yeah, absolutely. I have loved what I've seen out of this coverage unit.
For the most part, I mean, we've had quite a few plays where we're getting guys down deep. We're down in the balls.
Good, smart football in the coverage unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I would have to agree with you there. They've earned it.
Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, that's one place where the Ficken special teams have improved over last year. Now, if we can just get the Ficken return game to improve and we can get our Ficken kicker to make the Ficken field goals when he goes out on the Ficken field.
I was really optimistic to start the year that we might have it figured out, but come to the conclusion right now, or not really the conclusion, but come to find out that we're no better off than where we were last year outside of the coverage unit.
No, in the punting.
And the punting, yes.
Yeah, but the rest of it's still a Ficken work in progress. So
horrible ever since Zimmer's been here. Well, even before that, this special teams has been bad. As far as
I mean, when Prefer was here, they were okay. They weren't terrible. But with Maloof and now, Ficken is an improvement over Maloof, but there's still plenty of work that needs to be done. So
Ficken, man.
Mm-hmm. All right. So with that, we are going to roll into our fantasy challenge recap from last week. Even though the Vikings were on a bye, we weren't although we
Right.
probably should have been. But we'll start off with the competition between Lance and myself. Lance takes the taco this week again, 95.3 to 86.9. So that puts Lance at 4-3 and me at 3-4 for the year. Now,
Yay.
that's where it all goes south, because in our competition with the Vikings Report, those guys put one on us again this past week. Thanks basically to Alvin Kamara, did quite a number on us to pull away. We were within a couple of points of each other at the end of Sunday, but Vikings Report takes the win this week and moves on to 4-3, 211.95 to 182.2.
Yeah.
So we come back a little bit later here and do our picks for this week. You and I got to get our poop in a group and get this figured out and get back off the schneid on that one. So
Yeah. Let's get back to 500.
yeah. All right. So with that, we're going to move into another one of our classic beer commercials. So you guys crack one open, check this out, and we will be back in a minute.
Mark?
Julia?
Come on in.
Thanks.
Can I get you a beer?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, nice place you got here. You look exactly like my mom. Yeah, me and my family are pretty close. I guess that's why I still live at home. But I'm definitely planning on moving out and getting my own place. You know, just as soon as I can find someone else who can do my laundry.
All right, we're back. And now we're going to hit the important task at hand, the Sunday night football matchup between our Minnesota Vikings and those assholes from Dallas, the Cowboys. F you, Drew Pearson. What are you thinking on this one?
Well, I believe that their running back units are their running back, Elliott and the new guy that had, what's that?
Pollard.
Yeah, Pollard. They're pretty damn good.
We saw that firsthand last year when we played, when Pollard ran that, 40-some yard run when the wrong Chris Jones made that Olay tackle at that half-assed attempt at a tackle.
God, Chris Jones, my God. Yeah. They're a decent duo back there. You can't let them take over the game, So first and foremost, shut that shit down, and then worry about, CeeDee Lamb and Cooper and Gallup. And
Gallup's actually on IR, so
he is okay.
Yeah.
Well, Schultz, he's pretty good too, so you got to watch him as well. Lost to the Red Rifle, but we actually beat Dallas the last time we played them when they had Dak going. Kendricks had a good pass break in that game to kind of seal things for us there. And that was a couple of years ago. That was a couple of years back. But yeah, Andy Dalton pretty much fucking can't believe we lost to Andy Dalton last year. This is a big game for sure. This is a big game. A loss would be very painful at this moment after the bye. What do you think?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of bullet points here. Like you said, I'm extremely concerned about their running game, that two-headed monster of Zeke and Pollard.
Yes.
I mean, we're looking in another one of these type of things like we had with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb when we played Cleveland.
Yeah.
The potential there. of, I fully expect us to give up 150, 160 yards on the ground at least. And if we do that, I think it's going to be a tough. It's going to make it a long night. We'll put it that way.
Speaking of which, we do got Michael Pierce coming back. Hopefully,
he didn't practice on Wednesday though, so
he didn't.
He was the only one that didn't practice on Wednesday. So I'm not going to hold out hope for him to play on Sunday.
Okay.
We'll know maybe more by the time the show airs.
Sunday rolls around, and it's a late game too, so we might not know until.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to put the ins and outs until 2 hours before the game or whatever it is.
Right.
So beyond that, there's and on the injury note, there is still a question as to whether or not Dak Prescott is going to be able to play. He's got that calf injury. He was limited on Wednesday in practice. If he doesn't play, their backup is something called Cooper Rush.
Watch him go all pro on it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Seems like every year that Zimmer's been a coach, we've had one quarterback that's had who is that?
Just some unknown backup that
falls out on us, or some
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
or some guy that flaked out on a starter job that has came in and looked like he should be starter material when in reality there's a reason why he's a backup.
Yep. I mean, Dallas's offense in general scares the crap out of me. Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator, is gaining more and more steam as the next big thing as far as
I would be giving him a look.
Potential head coaching stuff comes.
Like. Yeah.
So
he looks appealing to me. I've always even on Boise State, I like him at quarterback, so yeah, he's appealing to me for sure. And especially, yeah.
Yep. And, with that kind of stuff, and like we mentioned, not only the running game, you've got Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb going against, with us without Patrick Peterson. Like we kind of mentioned earlier, are Breeland and Dantzler going to be able to hold serve, or are they going to, walk out of there looking like they got stuck in
tight ends have eaten our asses up before too, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, we got to have all of our monkeys in a basket here.
Eggs in a barrel and monkeys in a basket or whatever.
Yep. Monkeys in a barrel.
Yeah, whatever. Then again, on Dallas's defensive side of things, their defense is suspect. It can be beat.
Yeah, outside of Diggs.
But even Trayvon Diggs, he'll make the splash plays. He's making interceptions. He's got 7 this year, I think, that already.
Yep.
But he can also get burned really bad because he makes a lot of those plays on the ball and not on the receiver.
Yeah.
So when you have somebody as accurate as Kirk and receivers like Thielen, Diggs, Osborne,
big catch radius.
I think you can expose Trayvon Diggs on this one.
Yeah, I believe so too.
He's going to be worth watching, but I think he can be exposed. Dallas.
I think this is going to come down to what offense puts up the most points this game.
Yeah. Dallas's linebackers. They've still got Van Der Esch, who's off and on. Micah Parsons, the rookie, has been playing really well. And then they've also got my boy Jabril Cox, who of LSU by way of North Dakota State. He rotates in and plays a fair amount too, from what I've watched in Dallas so far this year. But I think the biggest thing and question I've got on this game is it's a twofold question, and it kind of intertwines with each other. First off, this is one of those games where in the past, Kirk Cousins tends to struggle under the bright lights and prime time, all this other kind of stuff. Now, we've talked, pretty much the whole season, we've seen what seems to be a different Kirk this year.
Shot those assumptions or previous virtues down.
Right. So, doing well and playing like he's played the first 6 weeks in this game, again, goes a long way towards starting to dispel away those, the misconceptions or
There you go.
exceptions, whichever way you want to put it, of how Kirk plays. But the one that I'm real worried about, and again, not trying to beat a dead horse or the broken record or whatever, but Mike Zimmer coaching in big games against winning teams more often than not comes up on the short end of the stick. I mean,
I wish you could take a fucking page out of Belichick's book. Look what he did to the Jets this last weekend.
Yeah. Belichick kept the foot on the floor until the end of the game. I mean, Zimmer will get up by 3 points in the second quarter and then try to run out the last.
Slow it down there.
Oh, back her down, guys. Back her down just a little bit, you know.
Okay, just slow the fuck down.
But, you know, my biggest concern.
Holy shit, did you see him take off for 30 yards? Better slow it down. Take a knee.
Yep.
Take a knee.
3rd and 24, run it up the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in the edge of field goal range, coach. I don't care. Just run it, and then we'll punt. Then we're going to take a delay a game penalty, and we're going to punt.
Right. Play for field position here.
Yeah. So
Less than a minute to go.
yeah. So I mean, as has been my biggest concern for a better part of the season, Mike Zimmer is my biggest X factor concern for this game.
Yeah. I would have to agree with you there. That's is Zimmer going to have these guys ready to go? You know, it seems like a lot of the time you come out lollygagging.
Well, and Zimmer out of the bye,
Yeah.
a lot of times isn't real great either. So that's another, you know, again, falls back on that part of it. We're not going to go down the Zimmer rabbit hole too far this week because we'll have plenty more opportunities to do that in the future here. But so with that, we will roll it right into our picks and prognostications section. So we will start with the game itself. What do you see in here, Lance?
Well, do we start out fast? We start out fast. I think we make it a game. Are we getting hot at the right time? You know, this game is huge. It's huge. We need this one. We win this one, and like I was saying the other day, that a lot of these teams that we were looking at a couple of weeks ago at this part of the schedule are looking beatable now. So Baltimore they got spanked this weekend. I mean, one game at a time, though.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you're picking us to win.
I'm going to take us to win. Yeah.
Okay. I honestly don't have a good feel for this either way. You know, I can see it either way. I think it's going to be probably, if we win, it's going to be a very close game. But I can also see Dallas coming in there and boat racing us right out of the freaking stadium. It all depends on
like a shootout's on the way.
Yeah, and it very well could be a shootout, but I mean, we have to, you know, this next gauntlet of the 4 games, and we've talked about this more than we need to. I mean, it's a tough schedule.
Toughest in the league. Right now?
Right now it is. We have to be, if we have any hopes of making the playoffs, we have to win, you know, some of these next 4 games. We can't just completely shit the bed.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think probably one of the most winnable games out of this is this Cowboys game, just because their defense is still suspect.
Yeah.
Their offense is great. There's no question about that. So can Zimmer scheme up something, you know, in the 2 weeks we've been off?
Zim beat McCarthy.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, they were kind of back and forth when he was with that team from Wisconsin. But I'll give the Vikings the win on this one just because we absolutely need it. I think we need it worse than Dallas does, because Dallas is going to win the East. We know that.
A win right now would be huge for us. I mean, against a team with some playoff aspirations like Dallas, this would be a big win.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't feel good about this game one way or the other. It could, like I said, it could very easily go as well one way as it does the other. But, like I said, if we have any intentions of even thinking about the playoffs.
What's
that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
We got to win this game. So
we need to get above 500.
Yep.
Sooner than later.
Yep. So, like I said, I think we're, it'll be another one of these 34-27
nice
games or something like that.
We can never do that.
Oh yeah, it would be nice, but I don't see it happening. Not this week anyway. So with that, we will move on to our fantasy football picks for the week. And again, like I said, we have a season-long contest going on between Lance and myself, and also Vikings Uncensored and our buddies over at the Vikings Report with Drew and Ted. Again, you cannot pick anybody from the Thursday night game since that game will have already happened by the time you see both of our shows on Friday. And once you pick a player, you cannot pick them again. So with that, we take a quarterback, a running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. And since Lance won last week, I will let you go first with your quarterback.
Okay. I will go with Kirky Boy versus the Cowboys.
Okay. I am going to
prosper, buddy.
I am going to take Joe Burrow versus the Jets.
That's nice. You got running back.
Running back. Again, this is showing that I'm not going to be a homer and think everything is going to be all wine and roses. I'm taking Zeke against us.
Okay.
I mean, like I said earlier, I strongly believe we haven't shown we can stop good running backs yet. Zeke's going to go over 100 against us. I can just I
hope not.
I hope not too, but I'll go on record and if I'm wrong, I will gladly come on next week and say I was wrong, but
yeah,
I just don't have that much confidence in our run defense. And I think I'll go Zeke.
I'm going to go with Taylor versus the Titans.
Okay. How about wide receiver one?
I'm going to double up here with Thielen against the Cowboys.
Yeah. And I'm actually taking Thielen as well. So.
Oh, shit.
Then for wide receiver 2, I am going to take Mike Williams from the Chargers versus the Patriots.
Okay. I'm going to go with Deebo Samuel versus the Bears.
Okay. How about your tight end?
Knox versus the Finns.
Okay. I will take Dallas Goedert versus the Motor City Kitties. So that is our fantasy picks. Hopefully we do a better job this week on picking and are able to even our season challenge with the Vikings Report, who you can see at 10 a.m. on Fridays. So watch them, then come watch us at 6 o'clock on Fridays. Your Friday is all planned out for football.
That's right.
With that, that's about all we got for the night. So again, want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, Boulder Tap House, again for sponsoring us. If you guys are out there watching, liking what you see, hit that subscribe button down below there. We're getting awful close to 200.
195 as of recording.
Right. So once we hit that 200, we're going to announce another contest giveaway. We won't divulge what it is. We've got a few ideas here, but you guys get that subscription level up over 200, then we'll let you guys know what we're going to do here. But so hopefully in the next week or two, we'll be able to do that. Again, if you're out on the road, you can listen to us on the audio cast as well. All your standard favorite audio podcast channels. Also, you can go to our Facebook page. There is now a podcast tab on there that has all of our audio casts as well, so you can listen from there. But then again, thanks everybody for watching. And why don't you take us out of here, Lance?
Oh, man. Recording on a Wednesday evening. This is out of my element. So, excuse me, please, if I was a little bit slow tonight. I felt a little slow. One thing I would like to mention is what is going on with these bubble passes to these receivers. It seems like that are going for like 1 yard, 2 yards, snap the ball. Oh, out to Jefferson on the fade or on the flat, and then it goes for a yard and he gets tackled, or it gets tackled for a loss. That plays like that are mind-boggling to me. And if they aren't producing, quit using them. So, or figure out ways to make them work. Run an actual wide receiver screen instead of just chucking it out there and hoping something comes of it. So, anyways, I had to say that. I had to touch on that because it's one thing I seen from last week that I think could be dumped. I'd also like to see the screen game get picked up a little bit more. That kind of disappeared. No more. I mean, we haven't seen a tight end screen since. I feel like we haven't seen much of a screen game since Seattle.
Yeah.
And I would like to see us running some more screen. Other than that, thanks again for coming on Fridays and enjoying your evenings with us, or whenever you get the chance to catch us during the weekend. We appreciate you coming and checking us out, and we'll catch you next week, hopefully after a big win.
We will see you guys.
See ya.